must be paid when you turn the form in, but if you have financial aid, you can put this fee on it.
Registration for summer classes begins next week on the 19th. You can sign up online through your Roar account or go upstairs on the second floor of Building H in admissions. Be sure to schedule a visit with your advisors to set up classes and register fast. Summer classes tend to fill up very quickly, so get it done as soon as possible.
In a few weeks, the Highland Concert Band will be putting on a recital in the Ferguson Fine Arts Center on February 23rd at 3 o'clock. Come and listen to different arrays of pieces from a different set of composers, some pieces you might just recognize. With a wide range of instruments and melodies, this free concert is an event to do on a lazy Sunday afternoon.
The Highland Gallery had its art reception open in the Ferguson Fine Arts Center yesterday on the 13th. The reception opened at 4:30 and awards for presented art were given out at 5:30. The showcase will remain up until March 4th and features different paintings, sculptures, and art pieces from students here on campus and the community. Be sure to stop by before the gallery closes to see what the creative members of our community have to show off. Now we're going to switch from campus news to On the Menu with Shelley Perkins.
Hi, this is Shelley from the Highland Arts Cafe. Our menu for next week is Monday, buffalo chicken sandwich for $4, and we have cheesy red potato soup. Tuesday is chicken quesadilla or steak quesadilla and vegetable beef soup. Wednesday we have a boneless wing basket for $5 and our soup is chicken dumpling. Thursday we have a baked potato bar for $4. Also we have Taco Tuesdays and Nacho Wednesdays.
It started with animals, really. Had a connection with them when I was in high school. I had a job at a pet store, and I started off in birds, and worked with birds for a little while, and then what I really wanted to do was to work in the reptiles and small mammals department. A lot of cool stuff out there. Kind of the funny thing is, when I started taking more biology classes, I gained an interest in plants. So I kind of pivoted. Not that I don't find animals extremely interesting, but the more I learned about plants, the more in awe I was of these critters that are able to survive even though they can't pull themselves up by their britches, so to speak, and wander around and find a better place to make a living. Start taking classes at community college. The professors were great. I really enjoyed learning. Had a great experience there. And they inspire me. Those teachers, those instructors that inspired me to want to do that. I thought this is great. I love learning. It's a great environment. I love being able to interact with the professors. So really, that was my career goal. Well, I was just the other day. I was telling my wife I was having a dream. I was out on my kayak fishing. Several years ago, I got into kayak fishing. Didn't get to do a lot of it last summer. I'm frequently chucking my kayak on top of the car and heading out to Lake Leakla now. Now that's going to be closed for this summer, so I'm a little bummed about that. I'm going to have to find a secondary place to go.
Hello, I'm Mercury King, and welcome back to Highland Sports Now. The Highland Cougars battled the Blackhawks February 13th and proved a victorious win with a score of 87-73. The top 3 scorers of the game were Vuk Stefanik with 16 points and 2 rebounds. Then there was Victor Wabarocha with 12 points and 5 rebounds. Right there with Victor was Nick Fleming with 12 points as well as 5 assists. There were also many other key players throughout the game, including Cam Burrell and Sam Kerr. The Cougars are back on the road Saturday, February 15th to play Olive Harvey. The Highland Cougars men's basketball team is currently in great standing for the 2019 to 2020 season. The district standings are 17-1, and for all of the games played, they are 20-6, ranked second on the list. Let's take a look here at a few highlights from earlier in the season. And can be found on the Highland Community College Mass Communication Department Facebook page. You can turn the notifications on so you know when a game starts to keep up with the latest plays. In other news, the Cougar Nation alum Antoine Harris has been inducted into the NCJAA Region 4 Hall of Fame. He is here pictured with Highland Athletic Director Pete Norman, who is also in the Region 4 Hall of Fame. Anton quotes in a tweet, "Big shout out to Highland Community College Athletics and Cougar Nation for this ceremony and unwavering support. Thank you for celebrating my journey." Thanks for tuning in to Highland Sports Now. Stay updated on the upcoming baseball, softball, and bowling seasons, as well as more basketball talk. Now let's hear some community news from our anchor, Ramsey.
Thanks, Mercury. We start our community stories off today with the big question on every man or woman's mind. Where are we going to take our sweethearts to go eat on Valentine's Day? Well, look no further than the Goldmoor Inn for the annual 4-course Valentine's Day dinner in Galena, Illinois. This annual dinner is a great place for celebrating Valentine's Day with that special someone. Tickets will be starting at $70 at the door.
However, if you would like to learn something new on the Valentine's Day weekend, the Byron Forest Preserve will be hosting their winter lecture on February 16th at the Jarrett Prairie Center Museum. Discussion this year? No other than the majestic bobcat. Jennifer Kuroda, the founder of the Illinois Bobcat Foundation, will cover every facet of the elusive cats, including history, biology, predator perception, and management. This free program is intended for the discussion of adults, so don't be afraid to bring your child along to hear the fascinating comeback of the Illinois native cat.
After the Valentine's Day celebrations are over, be sure to get registered and ready for the Paint and Paws fundraiser for the Friends Forever Humane Society on February 23rd at 1 p.m. Come support the Friends Forever Humane Society and have some artistic fun with local artist Barry Trio as he guides you to a finished painting of a colorful, artistic dog or cat, depending on your preference. Admission will be $25 at this family-friendly event.
In other news, the Rockford Register-Star and Freeport Journal-Standard will be moving newspaper production to Milwaukee after decades of years of production in Rockford and Freeport, Illinois. This is a difficult decision to make, driven by a broad transformation impacting the newspaper industry, said Paul Gare, president and publisher of Register-Star and Journal-Standard. The transition is set to take place in April and will not affect daily publication of either the Register-Star or Journal-Standard. This last edition, produced in Rockford, will be April 5th for the April 6th print.
The modern plating chemical spill in Freeport draws a state attorney general lawsuit. Back on January 14th, an above-ground storage tank at the modern plating plant ruptured, releasing about 4,800 gallons of hydrochloric acid. The spill reached the pond, which connects to a small creek that drains into the Pecatonica River, while also creating a vapor cloud that caused 20 employees to be evacuated from the site. Now Attorney General Kwame Raoul has filed the lawsuit in Stevenson County Circuit Court. The suit includes allegations of air and water pollution, conducting a hazardous waste disposal operation without a permit, and the dumping of waste into an on-site pond. Raoul's motion seeks to require modern plating to investigate the cause of the release, contain and clean up pollution, and remove and dispose of contaminated soil, along with a civil penalty of $50,000 for each violation of the act, $10,000 for each day of the violation.
Organizers in Rockford Summertime Anything That Floats race gave $3,000 each to the Forest City Queen, Ski Bronx, and the 4th of July committee this week. The money was raised during the 2019 raft race, which is held each year on the Rock River. It's a wonderful to see the community comes out and support us every year, said Chris Manuel, CEO of Prairie Street Brewing Company. We had over 10,000 people line the banks of the Rock River, cheering people on, helping to raise money for 3 great charities this year. The 2020 Anything That Floats race will be held Sunday, August 16th, so get your ship together and get ready for the incredibly popular Rockford tradition. And now we move on to our Student Spotlight of the Week, Garrett McDonald.
A medical assistant, I mean, it's super cool. I think the cool thing about it is it's the only medical profession that is trained to work in a doctor's office specifically. So the struggles are, you're always going to have like terrible patients, no matter where you are. People are going to come in and no matter what type of day they had, they're going to be rude, terrible towards you. That's probably the biggest struggle, is trying to deal with them. There's a lot of things, same thing with nursing. Men typically like to do other jobs. Medical assistants and nurse don't really get the highest pay compared to some other things that people will do. So I think that kind of turns them away. But there's a lack of male nurses, male medical assistants, and places love it because there's not a lot of people, a lot of males who go into this field. If males go into it, people are almost guaranteed to hire you. My dad got hired immediately out of the medical assistant program or the nursing program, and so there's high hopes for me to get hired immediately as well. Major ones. My first influence was my pediatrician growing up. He was the coolest thing ever, I thought. He knew what he was talking about. He was this, this older Indian guy, but he was awesome. And so learning things from him kind of got me excited. And then I watched my dad go through the nursing program here. He started off, I think it was 2012, graduated 2015 with his RN, and he's been a male nurse ever since. Worked as director of nursing, a couple different nursing homes. Worked in a couple of different areas, different hospitals, and I think seeing what he went through kind of got me started into wanting to do this. Physician assistant. Starting off as an MA, is a great way to get started off into this field because it's not super in-depth with what you're taught, but using it as a stepping stone to move forward. Like a nurse goes on, if they want to, a nurse practitioner. Physician assistants, they look for background in the medical field. So if you're an MA, an EMT, a paramedic, they love that when you apply to their program. And a physician assistant is basically a doctor without medical school. I mean, it's the same thing as a nurse practitioner, just a different license. So I'd love to be able to go on, get my master's, get my doctorates, and help people more.
It has been cold and gloomy, but by the looks of today's forecast, it's going to lighten up and give us some sunny skies here in Freeport, Galena, Savannah, and Foreston, with the highs only being 1 to 3 degrees apart, and the same with the lows, as you can see here. Although you should still grab your snowsuit and your snow boots because you're going to need them this weekend. Looking more into Freeport, Saturday starts off kinda rocky. There's a high of 35 and cloudy skies and possible snow showers. It clears up by night with a low of 11. Sunday morning is still clear, showering with a high of 37 degrees. However, Sunday night is where the chaos begins for our fellow Freeport citizens. There will be scattered snowfalls that eventually become steady, making the snow stick. 1 to 3 inches of snow is expected. Now, switching gears to Galena, there will be a high of 36 and a few flurries of snow is possible. Going into Saturday, looking pretty clear, having a high of low of 18. Sunday's morning in Galena is also clear, but mid to late afternoon, it gets cloudy and stays that way all night. There is a 70% chance of snow, bringing between 1 to 3 inches after midnight. Now let's check in with Savannah. Snow is going to be likely and a high of 37, maybe a few snow showers. Later in the evening, the temperature drops down to 20 degrees with only a few clouds from time to time. Sunday morning still shows those clouds, adding with light winds early Sunday night. It's going to be cloudy, followed by a mixture of light rain and snow overnight. You can expect less than 1 inch. Now let's take a look at Foreston. Saturday's high is 34. Snow showers are going to happen earlier in the day and continuing later on into the evening, the low being 18 degrees. Sunday, however, is clear with a 37 being the high and a mixture of sun and clouds. The night ends with a low of 29 degrees and it's still a bit cloudy and looks like snow showers on and off that steady night after midnight. Letting down around 1 inch, time to dive into what Freeport will look like for the next 7 days. Just a recap, for this Valentine's Day weekend, Saturday is clear all day with sunny skies. Sunday is partly cloudy and turns into snowfall that night with 1 to 3 inches of snow. Monday has a high of 38 degrees and a low of 22 degrees. There's going to be a mixture of rain and snow accumulating less than 1 inch. Tuesday is a little different. The skies remain cloudy throughout the day. The high is 28 and the low is 6. Wednesday gets sunny, making 21 its high, dropping all the way down to 3 degrees Wednesday night. Thursday looks clear and Friday is generally sunny, despite a few afternoon clouds. My name's Melanie and this is your weather report right here on Highland News Now. Emily, back to you.
The number of since the start of the coronavirus. On Monday, February 10th, China faced its largest death toll of 108 people in a single day. In the U.S., the 13th case has been diagnosed in Dane County, Wisconsin. The resident of Dane County, Wisconsin visited Beijing and came into contact with infected people.
Illinois Representative Camille Lilly has proposed a bill where Illinois gas stations must have an attendant pump gas. The main reason of the proposed bill is to help limit the amount of fires and creating citations for patrons that leave their vehicles running and creating static electricity from cell phone use. While Illinois will be joining New Jersey in the mandatory bill, Oregon has lifted the attendant bill.
The Toronto Blue Jays catcher Reese McGuire has been arrested for indecent exposure in a shopping center parking lot located in Florida. The MLB player did not deny the accusations and was very cooperative with the authorities. Witnesses described a man in an SUV with a shirt barely covering his genitals and his pants around his ankles.
Quit Bugging Me is the name of the promotion to have your ex's name put on a roach. A zoo in El Paso, Texas will let you name a cockroach and have it fed to an animal to give you closure on an ex. There is no fee, but the zoo will gladly accept donations. The San Antonio Zoo will also be celebrating Valentine's Day with allowing patrons to purchase and name frozen rats after their ex to be fed a snake.
A 6-year-old girl has been found dead after disappearing Monday afternoon. Faye Sweatlick disappeared after getting off a school bus in her hometown neighborhood of Casey, South Carolina. A homicide investigation has been put into place to help ease the parents.
On the morning of February 10th, a Central Illinois man died due to being buried in a grain bin full of corn. The Taylorville man has been identified as 61-year-old David L. Lawis. Lawis was reporting to his first day on the job at farm outside of Morrisonville when he was helping empty the bin when the corn became stuck to the side walls. Lawis tried to manually free the corn and promptly fell in.
Our next segment this afternoon is called Media Picks. This is where the anchors of the week get to choose their favorite media.
Favorite media? Let me tell you, I listen to a lot of different types of music, right? And like last week, for some reason, I saw this album pop up, like you know, on one of like the online things that you tend to peruse, and they said it was a good album, so I gave it a listen. It's called In the Court of the Crimson King. Very odd album. It's a progressive rock album from 1969 by a British group called King Crimson. So it's an odd little album. It's got 5 songs on it, but each song is like almost 10 minutes long. A lot of them are. It's got, let's see, what are the names of them? 21st Century Schizoid Man, I Talk to the Wind, Epitaph, Moonchild, and In the Court of the Crimson King. Now, this album is not for everyone, let me just say. It's a very peculiar album. When you listen to it, there aren't really a lot of lyrics. it's just a lot of noises. A lot of noises. A lot of good noises, let me say. That's why I'm talking about it. But noises, nonetheless. So it's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed it for how long it was, too. I mean, the 5 songs, even if they are 10 minutes long, they didn't really feel like 10 minutes. They felt like a regular song, 2 to 3 minutes. So it's like that. So yeah, good album. Give it a listen. It's on Spotify. I don't know about anything else, but
My media pick this week is 1917, the movie. I recently got to visit this movie, and it was by far one of the best movies I have seen in a while. The movie is taking place during World War II as the war is going on, and it's about a man that has to travel against no man's land. And no man's land is this brave little piece of land about a mile long between each trench, and these 2 men have to go and deliver a message to a captain. And throughout the movie, it shows the story of how they get through there. They have their difficulties and how everything gets put in place. And the movie is supposed to take place in one shot, and I just think it looks gorgeous. It's very, very calming and very elusive into the story. And yeah.
all right. I mean, I've never seen the movie, but it honestly looks really good from what the clips I've seen and how it's been described. Like the whole one-shot aspect of it that's impressive. It's very impressive. Even if it isn't actually one shot, the fact that they can make it look like one shot is that's very interesting, let me just say. So I think that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you for tuning in to Highland News Now. Again, I am Ramsey.
And I am Emily.
Thanks for watching.